So, after a year and a half of waiting, we are finally treated to another Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer that was oddly released at a concert instead of E3.
Let's go back in time, shall we? Doodle, doodle, doodle.
And so, being the person that looks at Kingdom Hearts things a little too hard, I am going to be analyzing not just every frame of this trailer, but every pixel. And overall, we get a good amount of combat that hasn't been improved a lot, and also a tease at some story in Disney World's maybe actually having some sort of relevance again, and hopefully even more than any game in the series. And if you would like to watch the trailer before the analysis begins, which honestly if you're here, then you probably have already seen it, but for a refresher, then I'll put it down in the description. But that is enough of an intro, let's get into this trailer analysis. Well, starting off, the trailer is around 2.5 minutes with 2 scenes of dialogue and story, with the rest being combat, and we only really see 2 worlds, being Mount Olympus and Twilight Town, with 90% of that being Mount Olympus. But before we start, we get those inspirational yet somewhat melancholic quotes from the beginning of cinematic for most games, and this time, it sounds like a callback to the first quote from Kingdom Hearts 1, except this one is more confident and exciting. But past quote analysis, we start out with what everyone was expecting: Sora skydiving, because why not? But hey, good news, Rage Awakening is not playing, it's a Kingdom Hearts 3 trailer first, with a main battle theme for the Devil Swarm playing from 0.2. But with the first scene, we still see sort of a new area of Mount Olympus, and I say sort of because we kind of had screenshots of this area, but this is our first glimpse of video of it. And it seems we're at the top of Mount Olympus, up with the Greek gods. But back to skydiving, which it may look like that he is just diving, but in some theories people have, they think Sora is diving out of the gummy ship into the world with his feet as parachutes, which could be pretty damn cool. But if we take a closer look, it could be that we're skating on these rails similar to that of Dream Drop Distance using flow motion. And having these rails, we really get to see how vertical the world can be, and also how we will probably traverse some of the world, as there are some on ground level too. Also, the first few frames, we see a mountain-like shape in the background that could be Mount Olympus, with also what looks like another rail in front of it, which could be how we get to the gods, and maybe what we dropped off of to get here. But the thing is, we don't really see Sora glowing here, which usually represents his flow motion. We also are really damn high, and we don't see any rail near Sora, but this random island here doesn't seem to have a rail connected to it. But yet, as editing, I noticed, as Sora gets closer and closer to the island, a power line does start to show up that looks like it's shooting straight up and very close to Sora. But since I still made this joke before I edited, I want to keep this in. So it's up in the air as of now how we got up to this point. Maybe he got shot out of a cannon. Also, this skydiving is kind of reminiscent of diving in Dream Drop Distance, which I doubt that is what it is, but it's still kind of cool something similar is implemented here. But past Sora's thrill ride, he does have to land sometime. But before he does, Heartless spawn and a new attack appears on the HUD called a dive attack, where he then slams down and creates a blast wave. And as for the Heartless, here we don't see anything new. Soldier Heartless and the Bull-like Heartless that we've already seen. But as for a look at the HUD, it has a few changes from previous versions, and even though the trailer is still in Japanese voice acting wise, which boy, the Japanese James Woods sounds great, but we get our first glimpse at the English command deck for 3, which has only been in Japanese in previous trailers. We have a new tab which is called the Link tab, which could be a form of D-Link, but since it doesn't have the D, I am more inclined to think that it's just a character link to my party, or the party, to which probably is the limit attacks tab, which I'm gonna guess. And speaking of party, something that I think could have been in every game, and that is having 4 party members. Woohoo! I can finally always have Donald fighting by my side. Come here, Donald. Heal me or die. Haha, stop, Sora! But yeah, I think it's a great addition because it's not like our party members were doing a whole lot of damage before. So adding it so everyone could be part of the party, I think could make everyone more viable and actually maybe have an impact on the battle. Also, 4 party limits, that'd be pretty cool. Oh yeah, Hercules is also a party member, which, being he was just a character in the other games, maybe some Final Fantasy characters that were just characters in the story will become party members too. Cloud. But moving on, we are most likely using the Keyblade of this world as we see here, which we have already seen before, honestly. And along with the Keyblade, we get our first reaction command seen in a KH3 trailer, looking very similar to the style of 0.2, and is built up through combos like 0.22. And now we get another sort of first glance at the form changes, and this time it's called Guard form, which we have actually seen through screenshots again, showing its Guard form being a yellow form and red being a power form, and it seems that this form is also associated with the new Keyblade transformation into a shield. And this is probably or most likely how Keyblade transformations will work. They are associated with different form transformations too, as we see with this form and also a form later on, to which this form's Keyblade transforms into a shield and then goes into guard form. And if every form is going to be completely different depending on the Keyblade is yet to be seen, but it could be. That could be why there's such generic names as guard form, and then the other one's power form. But I'll talk a little more about that when we get to the next form. But this shield having Hercules or Olympus stone emblem on it, and it's called the counter shield, with a bar that gives the length of how long it will last. And at the end of the time, most likely we're going to have a finishing move that we don't see in this trailer. And I would assume it's a counter shield that it would probably counter. And well, we don't see that per se, but you are able to do some strong special and regular attacks. Can't tell how much damage you do, but they look stronger and very fast, with seeming windmill attack from dream drop distance. And I would assume if you shield and then counter, it would do a lot more damage than regular per the name, but we can't really see. But we do get a look at a few special attacks to use. And then with a seeming transformation-specific shot lock. But before that, we see what the names of the actual shot locks in the panel are. One being Unleash, and the other being Flow Chain. And my guess would be Flow Chain is the attack that we saw in the D23 miniature trailer, where you dash from enemy to attack with what looks like flow motion. Then I would assume Unleash is a regular shot locks attack. And this is, in this case, the normal attack for the shield, one that has gods rain down a fireball and create a giant firework using the shield. Not sure how this lock works with it looking like an area effect rather than targeted. Either way, it's pretty cool. Then since we just can't get enough of Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora, and because they are pulling a limit form, we are getting good old KH2 form Sora, which basically what they did with limit form, except with Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora's outfit putting the color scheme of Kingdom Hearts 2 on it. And hey, don't forget about having his Kingdom Hearts 2 form attacks, except Sonic Blade and ours are Kingdom. Wait a second, those are Kingdom Hearts 1 attacks. I guess that's fine, but as you can see, the special attacks that you go with for the form are more Kingdom Hearts 1 oriented, but the higher combo you get, the higher ability or attack you get on the command deck. So it goes from Sonic Blade, then you get a higher combo, then it goes to Ars Arcanum. As for regular attacks, we get the KH2 combos here, and also Kingdom Hearts 1, being the most notable aerial finish and Magnet Splash. And for Kingdom Hearts 1 attacks, we get Hurricane Blast, and another one we will see later. This form overall seems to have a mixture of Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, which could be kind of OP. And now back to the topic of Keyblades and transformations being associated with forms. In this case, the Kingdom Key would be associated with the Kingdom Hearts Tomb form here, which we will see also later on. He is using the Kingdom Key, and he only gets the second form command when he has this Keyblade, and no other time during the trailer. Also, the Kingdom Key seems to be part of the title card above the command deck for the form, and it nearly confirms that Keyblades and Keyblade transformations are going to be associated with certain forms due to this. As for Heartless, so we can see those flying crow-like Heartless here again, but otherwise nothing new. Oh, and I almost forgot, if we look closely, we can probably see the entrance to the area of the gods. As you can see, there is a door right here, and also a rail leading into it. And it also looking very epic, as for an entrance. But back to Kingdom Hearts 3 form, we get a good old happy Sora. I mean, come on, look at that face. Who said these characters had no emotion in this trailer? As Sora then heaves his best friend at enemies to then explode. But hey, Goofy doesn't die. But this is obviously, or most likely, a new limit for the two, that we will notice an electrical circle that activates around the two that are part of the limit in the HUD. And as for the name of the limit, we don't know. I guess that's still in the works. How about the Goofy Heave? Or Sora murders Goofy. Sounds good to me. And oddly, the HUD isn't even in this limit. Oh yeah, almost forgot, the sneaky bastards from the first trailer are on full force here. But before we move on, I've already mentioned the HUD, but you know the soulless husks of characters' heads that we saw before? Luckily now we have better faces, with facial reactions of us seeing that Kingdom Hearts 3 might actually be released one day, and then the face of finding out is actually Kingdom Hearts 2.95, which It's good to see that the changes, even if it's not 2D art, we see the heads change along with the forms like he did in Kingdom Hearts 2. But finally, moving on back to the actual story, most I think might have thought that they actually forgot about these two, but oh no, welcome back Pete and Maleficent to plot relevancy. And I must say, their models, along with my boy Hades and pretty much every character model, looks great, well, depending on who you are when it comes to man sex. Some find him man sexier and some find him to look like a rat with spiky hair. But here we find out that for some reason Pete and Maleficent are, I'm pretty sure, looking for the black box that Luxu was given from the Master of Masters. And I know Maleficent and Pete were looking for the Book of Prophecies encoded, but oddly, things have changed to this. I don't know why. Maybe they found the Book of Prophecies. I don't know. I can make a whole video on predictions for that, but I will skip this for now. But speaking of improvements, oh man, this area in battle looked really good before, but the addition of better shadowing, lighting, and rain will add another layer of atmosphere, which you can feel on every part of this world, because as you go through each area, the world's lighting really sets the mood, and same for better shadowing. But in this part, we get a scripted rock throw from the Titan, and the command deck being red means he must already be in the boss battle, or an events battle at least. Being that when the deck is red in other games, you are in a scripted battle or boss. But one thing about this area gives us a good guess on how this world might work, or the story of this world, and that would be, since Sora is still in his Kingdom Hearts 2 outfit and doesn't have Hercules as a party member, I think it's a good guess that this could be the first area we get when entering the game, or Mount Olympus. Maybe we get hit by lightning, or we get trapped when flying in and have to fight off the Rock Titan, or maybe prove ourselves to Hercules to help Sora learn to become a hero, and we must go defeat the Rock Titan again, even though we already beat him in one, but I guess those battles aren't canon. But it's just my guess, to which after we beat the Titan, Hercules then joins us, we get a new outfit, Keyblade, and he leads us up to Mount Olympus. But back to the trailer and away from my guesses. We see more combat between some regular Heartless, which again, I would say introductory Heartless as the game might have just started. And we see that we have Fireaga, Aeroga, Thundaga, and Blizzaga. And with all this strong magic, all this health, all these forms and combos, makes me wonder how Sora is this strong. This could all be for show, and most likely is for show for the trailer, because Yen Sid said,
"Furthermore, Xehanort nearly made you his vessel, and in the process stripped you of most of the power you had gained by then. I suspect you have already noticed this."
Yet, as of the trailer, Sora seems OP as hell. And being the end of 2.9, we've seen that they're heading to Olympus, so this would be most likely the first real world in the game. I don't think he had time in between to learn and relearn all his abilities, so this is kind of interesting. Also, starting out OP as hell is cool and all, but it could get boring, and every game has had it where we have relearned all our abilities from the start, so why change this now? Either way, if you were missing out on the Za spells from Dream Drop Distance, we got some back now, where we got Fire Za and Blizzaza, a lot of Zuzas, which both appear in the commands for using them, which I will talk about a little more in a minute. But the one odd interesting note, while in your KH2 outfit you can go into second form, which seemed to represent his Kingdom Hearts 2 form. I mean, it does have Kingdom Hearts 1's attacks, so we could just get access to them through this form, but I'm curious how his outfit would change in accordance to still being in his Kingdom Hearts 2 outfit. Either way, we then enter a new area at the top of Mount Olympus, where we see one of the nightmares, Emerald Blues. Oh. I won't forget you, you little bastards. But hey, now like the other elemental Tikiats, they have some sort of elemental items spinning around them, and are oddly affected by Aeroga. Well, it pushes them, maybe no damage, I'm not sure. But we do see that they can get frozen in one of the trailers, which is kind of odd, because before they were impervious to any sort of magic. But we see that Sora is just loading up all his magic command prompts with a max seeming of 5 prompts as seen in the Japanese version of the trailer. And I think it's yet to be seen in any of the trailers whether you will be able to use all of those as long as it's before time runs out, or if you just have to choose one. Balance-wise, I think that kind of sounds a little broken if you can use all of them, yet if we're following the trend of how 0.2 did it with their magic, then we could use pretty much every single one of those, which could be interesting, but they'll have to find a way of balancing that out, especially if you have 5 or more spell commands that you can do. But nonetheless, after Sora shows off some, he then shows off some more by summoning the power of the gods in guard form, shooting down a circle of lightning, destroying everything inside it, That poor soldier, Heartless. Then Sora glows and goes Super Second Form again, this time showing off Stun Impact, another KH1 attack through a command prompt, and with choosing the form and attack you seem to go into your final finishing combo, which may be different for each higher powered attack, but we don't get to see this trailer. And the title over the command deck also changes, signifying the final attack of the form. Then Sora twirls his Keyblade, knocking a poor soldier again up, and overkills the hell out of him in the air using Sonic Blade, which I believe is new, doing it in the air. Then we see some more flow motion, but this time he is actually doing it on these water canal-like areas that we can actually see in the previous scene too. So I'm gonna guess this is also another way we can traverse around the world aside from the rail. So it seems like flow motion is going to be a big deal when it comes to moving around this world at least. Then we get a transition through that flow motion into the next scene, which is a little different than real life climbing, especially since the mountain is wet. But this is a great comparison shot of what it looked like before, and it's an impressive upgrade. But Sora is back once again for the 20th time fighting this Titan. And this time we get some wall running to the side as he tries to stomp on us. And the phases for the battle so far seem to be get to the Titan by running up the mountain, then wall run up to him, beat up his feet, get him stuck, then go into your roller coaster and beat the rocks out of him. Also probably being able to flow motion up to his head too, and hopefully more difficult and interesting than the Kingdom Hearts 1 version of him. Also, where's Donald and Goofy, you ask? Who cares, I answer. Oh, they're here, I answer again, where we see Goofy has his shit unlocked from Man-Sex, and also Edge Time Travel Lord XXX, and here Man-Sex brings up the most sensitive and controversial plot points right now, and that is to bring back Minnie's baby, Roxas. And I have my own opinions for the topic and theories for it, which I'll just make a whole video about it. But according to Man-Sex, if Sora wants to bring him back, he might have to dabble in the power of darkness, which could mean maybe Sora has to turn it back into a Heartless, which surely should be interesting. And then finishing after the logo, we get a date for a new trailer in World at D23, June 15th. And according to some people, we will get some very important info here too. Also, I'd assume this picture right next to everything or behind this text probably has a hint at what this new world's gonna be, and I have no idea what it is. I can't tell. So let me know what y'all think. Otherwise, that is it for this trailer analysis. Let me know what y'all thought of it. And overall, my biggest takeaway from it is that the worlds may finally get some real meaning to the story. And thank God Pete's back. And that with each trailer, the game is looking better and better. But that's it. My name is Arcane, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.